Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, I need to introduce myself. My name is M.Dimas Arya. My student number is 38. So in this video, I would like to convey and describe and also demonstrate about the first topic. Is about how to open and close the class. So as a teacher, we must have a strategies that can be used in the classroom to motivate our students and in order to make our classroom runs with systematically and well. So I want to explain and convey several ways that teacher can do and teachers should apply in their classroom in order to make it clear from the start and to the end of the classroom. So the first thing that teachers should do is to give opening greetings. So the greeting is should do the teacher should use it in order to make a small chit chat in order to can make students feel enjoy and calm and start to accept the first lesson. So because of this pandemic, I can't reach and get information from the real students and from the real environment. So I decided to take it as a monologue. So I imagine here get into my classroom and stand in front of to my students. So I will give their greetings something like this. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, good morning. And then how we can interact to them and interact them about a small chit chat. So by asking their conditions, so something like this, how is your condition? How is your day? Something like that. So this is the first step that can be apply to our class when we enter the first time and step in the first classroom. So hear about the greetings so student can enjoy and can really accept our lesson. So the second thing, after we get greetings, after we can create with a small chit chat to our student, this next is we must be able to attract their attention. So how we can attract their attention? So imagine in here I'm use a projector. I decided to imagine this is a blackboard or whiteboard exactly, and I try to explain my learning process that is style. So this is about the material that I teaching in my classroom the next, and also I use a projector and my personal computer and I display and show them about what is the learning process that will be in the next our classroom. So this can make attracting the students. So we can explain what is the material that will be explained. We will explain to them about our material. For example, here we take to the material about descriptive text. So in descriptive text, there are several terms that we will teaching and we will explain to our student. So it's something like this. So imagine I imagine I'm standing in front of my student and asking them to. So guys, we are going to learn about descriptive text. So is there anybody knows about descriptive text exactly? Is there any know? So we try to attract their attention, like, oh, what is this? What is exactly we will want to teach? Oh, about descriptive text. So it can make them like our media, such as projector and use a personal computer and slideshow. It can attract them attention, so they will focus on our method that we will, or our media that we will use in our class letters. So there is one of example that can be applied in our classroom to attract them attention. So the third step is, after we getting the student attention, we must give them motivation. How? So motivation is really needs to be student that really needs to be student that student can convey their feelings, their ideas exactly. So for example like this, after we have at their attention, we will say like that, you must know that descriptive text is going to be really needs that to be our future job, that we can make our skills in writing is more good like that. So the students will build their motivation from themselves, and also when they say this is gonna be exciting and it'll be fun learning exactly about our material. So I convey our motivation, and our asking the motivation also to make the class is more fun, and also student can share their ideas, what they're thinking about in their mind about the lesson that we will teach and convey. So after we give them motivation, they will have a curiosity and give something like they want to learn about our lessons. For example, we will teach about, before we teach about narrative or a descriptive text, we will use a narrative text that's more fun. We will show up there with a story of Malin Kundang, for example, and then they will like, who's know the Malin Kundang? And we'll be asking like this. So guys, here is the example of narrative text. So do you know where Malin Kundang does? Something like that. So the teacher will, the student will like enthusiasm and create like want to share the ideas by put their hands up and try to answer our questions. So it can be a really motivate student in our classroom and our lesson doing well. So the fourth one is to use a reference or method. So here we must providing a basis or reference. So here I use a textbook. This is an English textbook for the grade junior high school. So this is as a media that can be used to basic and reference. This is example of the reference can we use for our students later. So here, after we getting the information, after we give them motivation, and then we try to make some ideas from them, and also they try to imagine and drawing that will the lesson and studying that will they accept while the classroom takes place. So here, for example, I will try to explain to them. I will try to inform to them. I will try to convey to them what is the basic and the reference that I use to teach them in order to make the topic more clear. So for example like this. So students, we will use this as a medium. I will give you some reference and topic that can you use in our classroom exactly. So in today's lessons, we will discuss about narrative text. So as you can see in the first chapter, there are several assignments, there are several story about it, and then you should reading a text, a lot of text, and then you will learn about vocabulary in it, and also you will learn about how to pronounce the words with well. So it is example when we talk about student. So yeah, this is the really complicated at first, but and the time continuing, we will get information from our basis reference. So that is informing student about the discuss, and we will informing also with this book exactly what will assignments will be, what is the project will be, and we accept about, for example, students, you can learn and read the story about Malin Kundang, and then you will do several assignments and several projects, and I will divide you into groups. You will work in pairs and into your groups. So start the discussion and start to read. And that is the example that can be used to providing a basis or reference to our student. So the next, after we learn, we inform the basic reference to our students, and then we start to convey our student that there will be a discussion and assignment project, that things that need to be learned. And then after that, after we convey about the learning competence in itself, we must explain the relationship of our learning material and the purposes of explaining the relationship of material itself, to explain an association between the material to be discussed with the previous material. So, for example, we must explain the relationship about the narrative text that will be we teaching in the classroom. So, for example, so guys, we will learn about narrative text. Narrative text have several terms that we learned in the previous week. Do you guys still know? Do you guys remember about the topic last week? So the topic last week is about how to find a main idea. So after you know the main ideas, and then you know exactly how to create to find the structure, you will give the text, and you will give time to read all the composition of the text, and you will find the main topic from the text. For example, you can providing by material of story of the Malin Kundang, for example, Cinderella, and Pinocchio, and so on and so forth. So you will find the material, you will find the main ideas from the story, and you will create your own ideas and write your own ideas in the assignments, in above assignments. So that's an example that can be talk about the previous material. It just have a relationship with material right now that we use, or that we can explain to them. So there are 5 ways. Once again, this is, I imagine we were in the classroom, and imagine it is I stand in front of my students. So after that, we start to learn, we start to discuss together, and then after discuss together, we must get into the learning process itself. So we have talked about how to open the class. Now we discuss and explain about how to close the class. So after we reach and get into the end of the class, after we get the learn, after we get the study process, we reach into the close of the classroom itself, and at the close of the lesson itself. So the first thing that the teacher should do, or can they use in applying the closing of the classroom, is to conducting a review of the material that been taught. So after we learn about several materials and topic, and then we conducting the material. So something like this. So students, we have learned about the several material today. So the first material is about narrative text, descriptive text, and the recount text. So descriptive text is a text that consists of description of several terms that can explain by writers in order to explain something. And about the narrative text is about the story that happened in the past and retold by the writer in the form of text. And the third one is about the recount text, is about the story. It seems like the narrative, but it's more like a personal experience. So it's the example that can be used when we conducting in the material. After we conducting the material, furthermore we can the teacher conduct an evaluation, doing an evaluation, something like this. We must re-evaluation what have been taught in a way of, for example, we can use Q&A session. So we asking the students about what have been taught, what how we have been learned. For example, like this. So before we end the class, we learn and pass the question and answer session. So I have several questions for you. what is the text that tell us about? Who is the main character in the narrative text that we have learned? What is the material or the systematically or the setting of the story tells about? So we can ask the student so that student can expect and drawing the material that we asking for and answer with the suitable answers. So that's all about today's videos about how to open and close this classroom. Thank you so much for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.